Good evening. Less than 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah, so I must speak a little bit about Rosh Hashanah. Plus I'll tell you a little bit stories as usual, because people like to hear stories. But before we start, do you have any requests, any questions, anything you want yourself to ask before I start? Everybody feels that he's ready for Rosh Hashanah. No, what do you say? Cohen, what do you say, Cohen?
What's a good way to get prepared for Rosh Hashanah?
To prepare a lot of barbecue and to decide how much you do barbecue on Rosh Hashanah, like they do in Israel, you know.
They have barbecue?
They go to Tiberia, they sit on a boat, eat shish kebab with hummus, while Hashem is determined their next year.
Doesn't sound very good.
Then they cry all year why they have such bad luck, why there's so much divorce, why there's so many sicknesses, why the Arabs taking over every year more of the land, why the politician lies to them, why the soldiers are not what it used to be, why the children goes into drugs, and the list is until tomorrow. People think there's a hocus pocus, you do whatever you want and things will be fine. Think positive, Rabbi. I hear it all the time. Don't be pessimistic. Be optimistic. They really convince themselves that by what they think, that's what's going to be. I'm not saying it's not good sometimes to be too much pessimistic, then it may make you depressed. When you're depressed, you cannot be a worshipper of God. Someone who is sad is far away from Hashem. He has to be happy. But a person has to know where he's standing, not to live in illusion. I'm speaking in a place, I don't want to say the name, because it will make them bad reputation, but I'm speaking in a place that over there, before I arrive, the person who organized everything over there, he calls me the night before to tell me to be careful not to say A, B, C, D. So what do you think he tells me? What is he warning me about? He's warning me not to talk about the status of Mechalel Shabbos. Not to say that he's like a goy, or not to say that he cannot be part of Minyan. Not to say those things. Okay, I say, okay, what's the next? I gotta write it down. He say, speak about nice things. Don't tell people why they go to the beach and see all the dirty things over there. People are not interested to hear it, Rabbi. Why should they have conscious problem after you leave all week? They didn't come here to the lecture that they feel bad in their life. They want to be happy people. So what is it like? Like someone who, his wife wants him to go to the doctor because he feels chest pain, serious pain. It's keep coming back. The Advil didn't help, and the pain keep coming back, and his arm starting to hurt. He has all the symptoms of a heart attack any minute. So his wife called the doctor the night before. Doctor, I'm sending you my husband, but make sure, please, no MRI, no ballooning, none of these things. No, don't scare him by mistake. Don't talk to him about the heart. Just give him maybe 2 Advil, make him happy. Tell him that he's very good, that he's like he used to be young. So this is it. So we have like an industry of people who they are seeking for someone to lie to them about their situation, to make it good, to make things look good. But I always ask myself how fool people can be. There's a limit how fool you can be. Of course, not everyone is a genius, but there has to be a line that a person knows I'm destroying my future. By lying to myself, by keep thinking that I'm okay, and everything is fine, and why should I get upset about what I'm doing, or what do I need to know that this is not good, and I'm making Hashem angry. I don't want to hear this kind of talking. I want to be almost like this American guy, peace of mind, no worry, just worry about the money, and once I have money, I'm a complete person. This is the mind of a lot of these people. I'm talking religious people, of course. Religious, of course. I mean, what people who comes to pray Shachrit, well, how do you call them? Religious or not religious? Usually people who come in the morning to shul to pray shachrit, they're supposed to be religious, you know? Right or wrong? You don't go anywhere in Israel and find people on shachrit in the morning that they call themselves non-religious, maybe 1 to 1,000. People who come in the morning to shul, they're already supposed to be called religious. This is the kind of people I'm talking about. You understand? So they make you conditions in advance what to say. So today I told them, I want to ask you a question. What would happen if I read the parasha of yesterday? Just read word by word from the Chumash. Nothing for me. Just as a reader, I read. Half of the parasha is all the curses and all the warnings. What would you do? You put an X on the Torah also? Because it sounds very bad, you know. So the question is, where is up to when we have to surrender because people don't want to hear the truth? What's better? I want to ask you a question. Help me out. I've been thinking about it for a while. What's better? To speak to 100 people a month, knowing 20 of them will start keeping mitzvot fully, and 80 will not, because they say it's too hard for me, I'm not interested, I don't know, I don't care, whatever happened, happened. And that's going to be, 20 will keep, or to speak to 1,000 and 2 will keep in the end. But 1,000 heard nice divrei Torah, but only 2 will feel conscious problems after the lectures, because you never told them how bad is their situation, so they're not aware. They think it's okay. So what's really better? What do you think?
It's better to tell someone the truth and then not really like to accept it, but you know you did the right thing,
right,
and they have the right information, than it is to have 1,500 people who are coming to hear jokes and you're the laughing stock of them.
So that's what I've been thinking all the years.
100%.
You know, but the question is, there's a lot of people who disagree with me, and not 1 or 2, a lot. They say that in this generation people are not capable anymore of hearing the truth. And I say to myself, I know that some what they say, it applies to some people. That's for sure. They write about certain people that they cannot hear the truth, no matter what you're going to do, because this is maybe their nature or whatever the reasons are. But reality shows us that the yeshivot, full of more than 100,000 students in the last 20 years, how did they get to the yeshivot? By hearing jokes? By hearing beautiful stories about how nice the stomach works? Or about the new movie that came out in Hollywood? That's what got them into the yeshivot. What got most people to wake up one day to leave their job and go sit in yeshiva for a month to try?
Maybe seeing Hashem in action. Maybe like a miracle, so life was saved or something.
No, I'm not talking those. I'm talking those who attended to lectures. What really get a person to take such a step and say, you know what, let's take a time out from college. Let's take a time out from my business, from real estate. I put it on hold for a month. I want to see what it is. What's these rabbis are talking about? Yeshiva, Torah. I want to hear. I want to see.
I just think that sometimes maybe it's not, some people can't take it all at once to hear that if you don't keep Shabbat, you're equivalent to someone who's not Jewish, and that
Right.
you won't count for minyan, and if you touch the wine, it's no good.
Right.
It might be too much of a shock at the beginning to hear all that,
Who say shak is bad?
but
Sometimes very good.
so much that they're not going to come back again.
Oh, here is the point that I want to ask you about.
A little bit at a time. A person's not going to become a tzaddik from one day to another.
Okay, wait. Obviously, nobody...
Shabbat immediately.
Exactly, but obviously nobody dreams that a person will come 1 hour and hear his situation and the next day is going to be righteous. We're not living in illusions. We know that's not the case. Not after once, not after twice, not after 3 times. Even though I had people that in 5-10 minutes changed their life, believe it or not. In a short conversation, touching 1, 2, 3 points, that was enough for them to run after the truth. Once they heard that, it did not leave them alone. They were running after the truth, getting books, calling, making phone calls, which book should I buy? I'm going to the bookstore now, I want to buy some book. Can you recommend me? So I give them the name of a book. No, I want more. I want to now start reading books. And now today they're sitting and learning almost all day. So it depends. Every person is different. But one question I don't understand. You brought up a good point But please explain me, why this expression that you use, turn them off? Turn them off from what? They know there's God, they know He gave the Torah, and they know that His decision was that the world will be based on reward and punishment. That's it. That's reality. The rabbis didn't make it up. If it was up to the rabbis in history, I'm sure that they'll make the punishment 99% more lenient. Or maybe cancel them completely. Maybe yes, maybe not, depend who. But Hashem is the decision maker. And when you read in the Torah, what are you going to do? You're going to put it in a shelf and never open it? Why? Because it's too strict? You got to deal with that. To run from the truth will not get you anywhere. That's what I always argue this point. A person that wants to run away from the truth, he will run away from the truth. A person that's sick for the truth, he will overcome the shock, what you call the shock. A lot of people get shocked. What do you think? A lot of these people you see today here with black hats and beard, they got that shock one day. And that shock woke them up. Now, you may be right. Maybe people react and they get disgusted maybe, or they lose hope. They think it's too much. The mountain is too high. How can I cross such a mountain? But you have to know one thing. Hashem already gave us the cure for that problem. What is it called? Conscious. Conscious, every person has, even a goy. A goy has a conscious. How do you know a goy has a conscious?
Is determined by the culture, by the influences that come to bear on you, by the friends. Conscious is a man-made product. So when you say conscious, you have a different conscious, and the sensitivity that you have towards certain subjects, towards certain problems in life is totally different. It all depends on your background, your acquaintances, and that's what really is conscious.
Everything you say is correct, but you started from the second step. You skipped the first step. It's true that conscience is influenced by people, by decision makers, by people's opinion, and people design life in every generation according to their understanding, and that's affecting our conscience. For instance, sometimes our conscience stops to work after a while. If we see every second someone dying, after a while you don't get excited. You walk in the street and you don't cry over it. Someone who see once a year a dead body, he may cry. Someone who see it every moment, or like the doctors that they see it every day of their life, they become cold to the situation. So I agree with you, but you're forgetting one thing. Conscience really was not made by people. That word I disagree with you. It was made by God. The people spoiled it. The people ruined it. Adolf Hitler, Ymach Shimo, wrote in his book, 2 defects Judaism brought to humanity. One in the body and one in the soul. The one in the body is circumcision. You understand? He's calling it a defect. And even though the Torah says the opposite, the Torah said that a person was defected. After the circumcision, the body became complete. He did it vice versa. And the second defect, what he calls, it's in the soul, which is something that called conscience. This is a Jewish invention. And this is what he says. And now the war in this world is between the Germans and the Jews, and everything else is just a background, illusion. It's not important. Everything you see in the world, it's worthless. There's only one purpose to this war, the war between the Germans and the Jews. Amalek, exactly. And that point he was right. Yaakov and Esav, 2 brothers from one mother, starting to fight in the first day of the pregnancy already, after 40 days I should say, right away they're starting to fight. It started then, until this moment it did not finish. Now you have to understand, it doesn't have to be only a physical war. Like today we and the Germans are not in a real war, or we and the French, or the Russians, or the British. This is all supposedly, or Americans, the descendants of Amalek. This is Esav. Esav is most of the Europeans that you see today, there's a high chance that they're descendants of Amalek. Not all of them are in a war with us. For instance, you go to Denmark. They have nothing against Jews in general over there. Maybe 1 to 1,000. But they're nice. They respect you as they respect Arab, and they respect Indian, and they respect everybody else. That's their manners over there. It could be an Amalek. So you go, you sit over there, you go to the bank over there. The person who helps you in the bank, it could be an Amalek. Same thing here in New York. What do you think? You walk into the bank here in Main Street. There's an American guy. He fill up the forms for you, helps you out. Who is he? Could be the descendants of Amalek. You have a mitzvah from the Torah to destroy him. If you knew he's Amalek, the Torah does not give you permission to leave him alive. But you sit with him, you do business with him. One day you go into partnership with him. 20 years you sit in the same office, and you're not even dreaming that every second you sit with him, Hashem looks at you as his son and him as the devil. That's what the Torah says. I'm not making it up. I'm not making the laws of race, you know. So that's what the Torah says. But we don't know. So the point is, where is the war between us and them today? It's a psychological war. It's mentality. It's all the things they invent. Are we falling into that trap, or we are able to go around it? For instance, fashion. Fashion. Do you think the Jews are handling well the test of not falling into the new fashion that they make every month? New fashion, new clothing, new outfits, new colors, new designs, new words on the clothing. Are we staying away from their fashion, or we copy everything they do and we buy their products? What do you think? We passing that test? We fail 100%. We fail. Not only non-religious, even religious fail. The fact that you have in yeshivot guys that ask one another, let me see the name of your suit, and they check, and this is people with black hat, it just shows you how bad the situation is. Or what brand is your glasses? Is it Armani or not? Based on that, they're going to respect you more or less. I mean, crazy things like this. This is a Goyish culture. Jews never had this nonsense in previous generation. The Jews had one outfit. They used to wear outfits, all of them the same. Shabbat, all the same. Weekday, all the same. One outfit for weekdays, one outfit for Shabbat. So this is one thing. Even the outfit of the religious people today, these black hats that you see, where did it come from? Who invented it? Italians invented it. British, Italians. This was the way they used to dress in 1920. And it started to show that people that are respectable, they walk with a hat like this and long coat. The coats that you see the rabbis coming today with the 2 buttons in the back, the long black coat, you see pictures from the 1920s, how the goyim in Brazil, in Italy, all the masters, the bankers, there used to be an outfit of important business people. So obviously the Jews wanted to look respectable. According to that time, there was the special outfit. Today it's a short jacket. So today you have a lot of rabbis that wear short jacket. We copy them, whether we want it or not. In the Middle Eastern country, we used to dress like the Arab used to dress. Somebody respectable was wearing a long kilt or something, or in Bukhara or in Yemen. We copy what they do. We copy some of their food. We get too close with them, as the Torah forbidden us. Later we pay the price. Yeah.
What are you supposed to wear?
The Jews have to have their own culture. You understand? Always, in everything, in music, in clothing, in food, in way of conversation, in behaving, in the things we learn. For instance, Hashem did not create Jews to sit in colleges and learn science. Science you learn through the Talmud. You learn Talmud 20 years, you learn all the sugyot of the Torah, you learn plenty of science. More than college, I promise you. And it's more correct. More than college. For sure. More than college. The Talmud is full of science. You read in the Rambam, you have astronomy, you have geometry, you read the Chazon Ish. You read in the Chazon Ish, there are parts in the Chazon Ish, you take the best professor in the world, he won't understand what he wrote. And not only that, the Vilna Gaon, you heard about the Vilna Gaon? He wrote a book about math. Show me one mathematician in the world that will be able to understand 1% from it. You know where he wrote it? In a few minutes that he was sitting in a bathroom every day. And the only reason he wrote it, because he said, the reason he wrote it is because he did not want to think about Torah in a bathroom, because it's not allowed, and the only thing was taking his mind away from the Torah is sharp things from math, and he was writing it. Show me one mathematician in the world that will know how to look at this book. You know what a complicated math? And believe me, he never went to college. The Rambam, right? The Rambam went to college. Where did he get his medical degree? Where? Torah, no? Chazon Ish. How Chazon Ish knew about brain surgeries? Doctors used to come ask him about brain surgeries. The doctors knew the Chazon Ish never went to college. Even now there's a special Führer. You know him, Führer, in Israel? He is a specialist that everyone who has a problem goes to him to get an advice how to operate, where to operate, to which doctor to go, what not to do. Doctors in Israel calling him to ask his opinion, what he should do, what he thinks they should do with the patients. And he will tell you that he never went to college. Everything he learned on his free time. So the idea, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you don't learn the truth over there and some of the things that they teach is not correct. Yes, there are things that are correct. But there wasn't the Jewish way, you understand? The Jewish way today is influenced by the way they are. I'll give you an example. Of about 50 years ago, there used to be a Rav, his name was Rav Weissmandel. You heard about him? Rav Weissmandel? Rav Weissmandel, he had something that called photographic memory. Photographic memory. What does it mean, photographic memory? I will give you an introduction before we speak about Rav Weissmandel. About 2,200 years ago, 2,100 years ago, used to be in Babylon, in Iraq, a very important Rav. His name was Ezra Sofer. You heard about Ezra and Nehemiah? Okay, 2,200, maybe more than that. Ezra Sofer, everyone who hears his name, they think Ezra Sofer was a Sofer Stam, writing Sifrei Torah. But the truth is that his name is Ezra Sofer. It's not because he was Sofer. Sofer means something else. Counting, lispor, to count. Mispar, it's a number. Lispor means to count. Why they calling him the counter, the one who is counting? You tell him a word in the Torah, and he'll tell you right away how many times it appears in every chapter. How many words, how many letters in each parasha, in the entire Torah. Something unbelievable. So now pay attention. That was more than 2,000 years ago. We had it almost in our generation. Rav Weissmandel, he came to the United States. His son is in Monsey. Still is the head of the kashrut in Monsey, his son. So it's only a generation ago. He had a photographic memory and he discovered the codes in the Torah. He started to look in the Torah without computer. Remember, that was 50, 60 years ago. There was no computers yet. He was able to see some of the codes that we show today in seminars without computer, such as the Rambam codes, Mishneh Torah, and the 613 letters. Interesting things. One of the things he wrote, I saw on Shabbat, I couldn't believe. We have a Rav in Monsey that used to go to see him when he came to America, when he was young, many years ago, 40 years ago maybe, 50 years ago. And one time we came to him in Purim, and he told him, if somebody ever asks you, how do you know the Torah is the word of God? There's many ways to prove. Here I give you another tip. What is it? Remember this, don't forget. You take the word Bereshit. Bereshit. From the first Aleph in the word Bereshit, you're counting 12,196 letters. Why this number? This is the numbers of the letters in Megillat Esther. Megillat Esther that we read in Purim, Chazal wrote in a Gemara, Megillat Esther Beruach HaKodesh ne'emra. It's all prophecy. Everything. Sometimes they say HaMelech HaChashverosh, sometimes they say HaMelech, that refers to Hashem. There's a lot of secrets over there. There's, for instance, the trial that they had about Nuremberg, the Nuremberg trials, right? With all the Nazis that they hung here in the United States, it's hidden inside the Megillah. In the names of Aseret Bnei Haman, the 10 sons of Haman are 10 Nazis that the Americans hung in jail here in America by Mr. Wood. The one who hung them, his name was Mr. Wood. And in the Megillah they said that they hung Aseret Bnei Haman on a wood. And where did they hang them? In a jail in somewhere in the United States. And one rabbi that went to that jail because he wanted to see how they hung them, he found out that they hung them on a big piece of wood, was across the room. So they were hung exactly the same. Where does it say it in the Megillah? Esther say, "Im al hamelech tov yinaten gam machar." If the king agree, we will redo to the goyim what we did in Shushan Abira when they were destroyed all the enemies of Israel in a time of Achashverosh and Mordechai and Esther. We will do it to them again. Where did we do it to them again? To the children of Aman, to those 10 Nazis that we hung. And there was 11. But one of them, his name was Goering, he was able to swallow a pill and committed suicide. And if you know a little bit about the Megillah, the Haman had a daughter. Other than the 10 children that he had, he had a daughter, and the daughter saw that she knew, Haman told his family, that Mordechai will carry him on a horse and walk in Shoshana Bira and everyone will clap. So she was standing on the second floor waiting for Mordechai to come, holding the horse, and she took all the bathroom of the week, collected it into a barrel, and just when they came, she spilled it on his head. However, she didn't realize that the king changed the verdict, and it was Haman carrying Mordechai, pulling the horse, and Mordechai sitting on the horse. She thought it's Mordechai walking. When he picked up his head, she saw that she spilled all the garbage on her father's face. So she jumped from the terrace and committed suicide. Moments before they hung the 10 children of Haman, one of his children, the daughter, committed suicide. When they had in 1947, I think it was, they had 11 Nazis, one committed suicide, the other 10 they hung on a tree. And what is the last one? What did the last one say? What did the last one scream? Purim. He screamed Purim to the Jews.
The guy,
the Nazi.
the one who killed himself, he was a cross-dresser. He wore women's clothing underneath.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no. I didn't know that part.
Crap on that.
Yeah? Beautiful. But pay attention what we're talking here about. The Nazis scream Purim to the Jews. In the list of the Megillah, you have the list of the 10 children of Haman. You have 3 letters that are very small. Taf, Shin, Zayin. That's the year that they hung all the Nazis in the Nuremberg trial. The Megillah already hinted to you that the story of the Megillah will repeat with the Zerah of Amalek in different bodies. Same souls, different bodies. Why I tell you all this story? Pay attention now. So the Megillah has 12,196 letters. Megillah. The Rav Weissmandel, he told that Rav from Monsi like this: if you count from the first Aleph in a Torah, 12,196 letters, what are you going to get? Samech, the letter Samech. You count again 12,196 letters, what are you going to get? Taf. Count again 12,196 letters, what are you going to get? Resh. The word Esther is hidden in the beginning of the Torah in the equal skip of the numbers of the letters that will be written in a Megillah in 800 years later. The Torah was written before the story of Esther, almost 800 years before. But it was already hidden. Hashem, when He gave us the Torah in Mount Sinai, it's already the story inside the Torah in mathematical skip. So then what's the question that everybody asks? Okay, that's Esther. What about Mordechai? He's an equal part of the miracle, no? So he asked him that question, Rabbi, but what about Mordechai? He said, come back to me next Purim. By then I will have the answer for you. By the next Purim he came to him. Before he even opened his mouth, he remembered the question from last year. He said, come, I'll show you where does it show about Mordechai. So he showed him a pasuk in Sefer Shmot that's speaking about mordror, spices, all kinds. This is where the Gemara says, where is a hint to Mordechai in the Gemara? The Gemara says Mordachia. It's speaking about Mordechai name. So the pasuk in the Torah says mordror. From there, from that mem, you count 12,196 letters, you get Resh. You count the same number, Dalet, the same number, Chaf, the same number, Yud. Mordechai also appear in the same skip of the Megillah inside the Torah. Now, what else do you need? What else a normal person need to know that this is a book that was written by the creator of the world? And once you see it, what's the next step? That's what I always like to say, and that's 100% the truth. What's the next step? In between the letters, the main reason why the Torah was written, not to show you that the creator of the world is able to know the future and to hide it in equal skills. That's not what he was trying to prove. This is only by the way, just by the way. But the main things, what is Torah? Open and read. The truth is, nobody really needs lectures today. If they were not lazy, all they had to do is open the Sefer Dvarim and read it. Every day a chapter, but good. Read it good, read Rashi, read a little bit about the other commentators, in English, in Hebrew, doesn't matter, in your language. You learn the parasha every day, you learn one parasha good. In less than 2-3 weeks, you will know basically what Hashem wants from you, from A to Z. Right away, you're going to see all your life becoming different. Right away, certain things that you do without realizing that it's a terrible sin, you will wake up. The next time you're about to do it, you say, wait a minute. Just yesterday I read that Hashem is very upset when someone does such a thing. I don't want to be in the blacklist. Why should I push myself into cut my future with my own hands? And the truth is, don't be impressed by so many billions of people out there that run around and they living, all of them, almost the same lifestyle. That should not bother you at all, because it's obvious that these people have no idea what this life is all about. You don't believe me? Take every goy or every secular Jew that you know and ask him, between you and him, tell me the purpose of life. Why this world was created. Why man was created. Why there's a man, why there's a woman. Why there's children. What is all life? What is the body made from? What is a soul? Ordinary questions. Almost none of them knows. They don't know. We ask them, what's your purpose in life? What's going to be the number one answer? To make money. Second, to get married. Third, to have children. Fourth, to be healthy. The order may be different, but that's the list that they're going to write you. What else to have? To have good friends. What else? To have a lot of vacations. What else? To have a lot of physical pleasure. To enjoy food. To have a nice house. To have a great car. To have a jet ski. To own a basketball team. Whatever, everyone with his dreams. They all have the same dreams. Is it possible to think that this is what we were created for? To run after a ball? To swim like a fish? To jump like a monkey? This is what we're here? This is why we have intelligence, to copy what the Goyim made, the new designer came to the world. I gotta buy this press. Why? $3,000. It was made by this guy in Italy. Wow, she cannot sleep at night. Why? Her husband thinking if to allow her to buy it or not. That's her life now. From now until her husband will give her the okay to sweep the credit card and to buy herself a nice new jacket or this, she's miserable. She comes to the rabbi, I want shlom bayit, rabbi. My husband did not upgrade my car already for 6 months. This is society today. What is the main, other than faith, one of the main problems that people are suffering so much in this life? Who knows? Something that destroyed our life every hour. The biggest enemy of a person, what is it? I say besides emunah. Besides gava. Besides midot. Midot, you're right. Every midah you say, jealousy, all this is destroying us. But there's something more frequent that destroying us more frequent, almost by the hour, by the minute sometimes. One temptation that we have. What? No, who knows? Desire for food. Pizza, Chinese, sushi, bagels, sweet, coffee, cold, soda. I gotta stop. You know, all these things. You can push cigarettes in it as well. What was the first sin that human being made in this world? The first sin in history, what was it? Food. First sin in the world was food. 6,000 years almost, the entire world is suffering because of food. Because that was the first thing of our Father, the Father of all the people in the world. As soon as he was created, the first sin he made was food. God told him, you eat whatever you want here, from this tree you don't eat. His desire killed him, he ate from the tree. What's the problem now? Everybody knows that if you have a problem with your tooth, you need a root canal. If a person needs a root canal and he goes to the doctor and he only makes a cavity, what happened after an hour? What happened? Infection. It's going to start swell. The gums, pain, the head is pounding, the body is reacting, something is wrong here. The problem is still there. So he goes to the doctor, he gives him antibiotic for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's going to help? A little bit. Then he's going to keep coming back, the infection. There's no way to cure the problem. The only way to cure the problem is to go into the roots and correct it over there. Same thing here with food. Since the world was destroyed spiritually from a sin that was connected to food, the only way to correct it was through the root, which is food. You understand? You got to go to the bottom of the problem. Most people in the world, almost every person in the world, you can count on one hand in each country how many people are not into that curse, cannot control what goes into their mouth. Agree or not? Agree or not? You're going to find people that have desires for ladies, but you're going to find plenty that don't, that are faithful and they live happily with their wife. Jews, Goyim, religious, non-religious, depend on the nature of the person. A lot of people have desires, but a lot of people are nice and decent when it comes to this. You're going to find people that have a great desire for money. They run after it like crazy, they'll kill for it. There's a lot of people that are not so crazy about money. Nah, they would stay away from their father's business. I know one like this in Monsey. His father is a billionaire. He decided to be a Rebbe in school and get a little salary. He's not interested to work in his businesses of his father. So one brother runs all the empire, while the other one is a simple Rebbe in yeshiva, teaching children. Mazal Tov Moshe. So, what do you see from here? He prefers to be connected to children and Torah more than to sit in a business and make millions. Why? Perhaps he doesn't have any desire for money. And there's many other people like this, that money does not really will drive them out of their belief or out of the way. But there's always going to be the same problem. Desire for food, everyone has. Some people more, some people less. Right? Almost every person in the world have extra few pounds in his body that he doesn't need. The reason is because he eats what he's not supposed to eat. The Rambam writes that a person can never be full in a meal. He has to eat 2/3 and leave 1/3 empty and feel a little hunger, a little drop of hunger, that in few hours he never to choke his stomach. Or most of the things that we eat today, we eat because we are hungry or we eat because it's tasty.
Desire.
Huh?
Desire.
Desire. I always tell my children, remember one thing. There are two kinds of people. There are people who live to eat, and there are people who eat to live. Those who eat to live, those are the tzaddikim. They eat because they need to live. We need gasoline. The car doesn't move without gasoline. But there are people who only live for the purpose of eating. Everything they have, they spend for food. 4 hours, they're going to prepare themselves a meal that in the end they finish in 3 minutes. They put it in another sauce and they grind and another spice and they're missing something, so they get into the car, they to the supermarket, they put it in a fire, every 2 minutes they check. In the end, how long it's going to take to eat it? 2-3 minutes? It doesn't make sense. The desire is so strong. The desire is so strong that people cannot overcome. By the way, you should know, what's the number one reason for all the sicknesses in the world?
Diet, poor diet.
What's? Food. Food. Most of the 99.9% of the sicknesses come from food. I'm not even talking about the fact that almost in every food you buy in a store today, there are tons of poison. You have plastic in it, you have preservative, you have gasoline, you have so many poisons in each food that you buy in a shelf, you have no idea. You buy a hummus, right? Hummus, sabra hummus, right? Kosher, glad kosher, badatz, bishul Israel, 100%. How does it last 3 months in the fridge without being spoiled? How? They put poison in it to kill the germs. This poison that kills the germs kills you also. Bring cancer, bring headaches, bring weaknesses, bring all the problems that you feel every day. 100%. What do you think? There's a miracle here? The poison will kill the germs but will not kill your stomach? It destroys us. It destroys us completely. All this food destroyed. That's why so many people have so much sicknesses. White sugar. White sugar, right? What is white sugar? In the old days, Rambam wrote in his book, 850 years ago, Rambam wrote about one of the doctors, the Goyim, the Greeks. I'm surprised that in the list of the sicknesses that he wrote in his book, he did not bring the sickness of the sugar. The sickness of the sugar, which is diabetic. Because I myself, in my career as a doctor, already saw 21 patients of the sugar disease. 21 people only in years, 10, 20 years that he was a doctor, only 21 people had diabetic from thousands of people who came to him. Today, from every 3-4 people, one have diabetic. Some more, some less. What's the results of this disease? Some people lose their vision. They cannot see one day. They have blocks in their blood circulations. They have to chop their feet off sometimes. Sometimes they gotta cut pieces from the body because of sugar. Every time a person drinks a cup of coffee and he put 2 cups of white sugar, what happened? It's a boost to the nerve system. It was not designed by God to get such a boost. It's like drugs. It works for an hour or two, this energy of the caffeine and the sugar, and then there's a drop. Up and down, up and down. There's not balance in the system. It brings sicknesses. Plus, cancer. What is it, a cancer? There's a disease that begins to eat the cells inside the body. It expands. If a person will fast, how long a person can fast, do you know? What's the maximum a person with only drinking water? 60 days a person can fast. 60 days. 60. One person in the world fasted for 90 days, but there was a very strong person. Very strong. But average person can fast up to 60 days as long as he drinks water. He drinks, but he does not eat anything. He only drinks. Of course, he's going to lose a lot of weight from all the extra storage that he has in the tires around his stomach. But eventually, up to 60 days he can fast. They made an experiment when people that have cancer, they were fasting for a few days. Not only did not expand, it started to shrink, to die out. Because the disease, the sickness, did not have where to get his energy from. So he started to die out. It's not much like a person that needs food. You give him the food, he expands. So someone that knows a little bit about medical, he told me white sugar is the #1 food of the cancer. If a person will not touch sugar, the cancer will die out. This is where he gets his energy, and that's how he expands. So people who don't know how to live, then you wonder why in every family you have at least one who died from this disease. Millions of people die every generation from this. And it's only become worse and worse. Is it coincidence? Why they didn't have it 60 years ago, 80 years ago? You heard the case here and there. Why? So it's a combination of people who do not follow the laws of the Torah today more than before. Plus it's a combination of people who constantly eat poison. Body, it's like a car. How long the car will drive if you put the wrong gasoline? I told you once when we were in the army, we used to have a tractor. The tractor, we used to come and bring missiles to put on the F-16. Huge bombs. Each bomb is a ton, 2 tons. It's big bombs. So you can't pick it up. You got to bring it with a special rake. and you connect it to the tractor, and you bring it to the plane, and you have a special machine that brings it up to the wing. It's a whole job to hang the bombs. So the tractors were designed to drive 15 kilometers an hour maximum, which is 9 miles an hour. It's like walking. Someone who walks fast, that's the speed of the tractor. And a busy day, sometimes you have 20 flights. You got to put 20, you have to put 2 bombs on each plane, multiply by 20. It's 40 bombs to keep bringing them from up the hill, because it's bunkers under the ground. You have to go under the hill, and then you go underneath, and it's covered. It's all under the ground in the desert somewhere. It's a lot of work. A lot of work to do it. So what do? You get angry that the tractor does not move. So what do we used to do? We used to make sure that nobody sees. We used to take the gas that we put in the F-16. It's a special gasoline. You don't find it in a gas station. It's called Delek Siloni, special for airplanes, for jets. Put it inside the tractor, and I don't know, the tractor, but now the tractor drives, instead of 9 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. Double speed. It's flying compared to what it was. Problem is that every 3 months, the engine died. They were wondering, what's going on here? Every 3 months we have to fix an engine of a tractor here in this place. So they put somebody to run around, to watch around, and they found what we do. And then they announced that someone who will do it will go to jail. You understand? So what do you see? The tractor functioned very good when he got this gasoline. What happened to him after 3 months? He died. That's us. Chocolate, white sugar, caffeine, preservatives, all kinds of plastics, gasoline in a food, even in the cups that you drink. When you put hot water in it, what comes out? Gas. It's made from plastic, from gas. What do you think? Why now they double all the paper goods? Why? Because gasoline, it's $70 a barrel, $80 a barrel. Gasoline used to buy a pack $3. Now $9, $12. Why? Gasoline. What do you really eat? You put hot coffee in it. With this, you have gasoline goes into your stomach, into your blood system. You understand? If we only knew Torah, we wouldn't have all these things. People who stick to the Torah, to the Rambam, to the Shulchan Aruch, to the laws of the Rambam, or they do exercise. By the way, one of the ways to get rid of all this poison that the body has, is to do exercise. When you sweat, all this poison comes out of the body. When you have pain in the body, why the body hurts? Sometimes you feel pain in your kidneys. Why do you have pain? You know why you have pain? Because the kidneys is full of poison, and the kidneys is dying to get rid of the poison. This is the way God made the body. That the body automatically knows it must get rid of the poison. Everything that observed in the kidneys, the body is trying to get rid of it, so you have pain. So, or when a person is fasting, a person that when he fasts on Yom Kippur and he begins to have the next day headache, he knows that his body is full of poisons. A person that doesn't have headaches by the end of Yom Kippur, he may be hungry. Hungry, it's no problem. To be hungry, it's normal. But if you have headaches, the head is pounding, then you know your body is full of poison, and the body is trying to get rid of the poison. How does the body do it? The poison goes into the fat, and that's a storage. Now when the body begins to burn it, it hurts, because the body gets rid of it, of all the poison. It's like an infection. It's all the bad material that's can be stuck for months inside your body as an opportunity finally from the body to get rid of it. That's why you feel headache. So what do? We take Advil. What does the Advil do? Comes to the place where the nerve system, the nerve system, in between one ligament to the other, you have the nerves. So that's when those nerves, whenever the body begins to release poison out, they begin to have sense those nerves, so they begin to hurt. So what do? When we take an Advil or Acamol, doesn't matter, but they have the same idea. They goes over there in between the nerves, and they make a separation and destroyed the releasing of the poison. So what do? We think, the pain is gone, Baruch Hashem, I feel better. But the truth is, we're making ourselves more sick in the long run. Understand? Birth control, all these things. What do you think? It's hocus pocus and the problem is over? 20 years later, you wonder why almost 1 out of 9 women in the world have breast cancer. Why it happened only in the last 20 years? Maybe because of that. 20 years ago, nobody knew about those things. So the idea is people blind. They think, oh, the doctor say I can take it. No problem. But when the rabbi say you have to keep Shabbat, the rabbi say, let me think about it. The doctor say, it's no problem. If the rabbi say, or somebody read from the Torah, that's already too much for me. I want to start saying a few things about Rosh Hashanah. We are now, that's it. We have last Sunday one more lecture, it's the last opportunity to wake up. After most of the time, the way of the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, there's two kinds of evil inclination. One is that it's an angel, it's called the Satan, and one is all the desires that we have in this world. Sometimes the evil inclination can come as your best friend. Let's go on a trip in a month of Elul. Where I got 2 tickets for free to Miami for 3 days. You want to join me? That's the way of the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara doesn't necessarily have to be an angel that keeps bringing you all kinds of inside desires in your head. The Yetzer Hara can be anything around you. And that's the test. So a person say, okay, I'm going to go. Why should we lose the tickets? You understand? And this is a way of destroying your entire year by one little bad act. First of all, we should know one thing. Chazal says a very interesting sentence. Im en ani li mili. Who knows what does it mean? What does it mean? Im en ani li. So the meaning for that is like this. If I'm not going to take care of myself, who's going to take care for me? One time I heard one rabbi spoke, and they said that he came from Israel to here, and he says that he always carries tefillin with him. He never sent the tefillin in a suitcase or anything, always keep it on him. He doesn't leave it for a second. So, there's one tefillin, another tefillin, and the talit, and the siddur. It's already a heavy thing, besides all the other things you carry with you on a plane. So he says to his friend, listen, if I would be you, I wouldn't put it in a suitcase. Even though you don't need it in a plane, carry it on you on a plane. So the guy said, no, Rabbi, it's too much for me. I have this bag, I have that bag. I'll put it in a suitcase in between the clothes, no problem. What happened? When they came to New York, they sent the suitcases to the wrong place. His tefillin gone. So he told him, look, if I have to trust the airline to deliver my tefillin, maybe they will, maybe they're not. But if I can do it myself, I know what I can do. So there is a difference between him and him. He took care of his own problem, and the other one was counting on someone else to do it. Today, when you come to a person and say, how about becoming religious? How about waking up? How about do something? What is his first reaction? Let's find a rabbi that's coming to town that can give me a blessing that I'll become a tzaddik. Or for parnasah, or for health, or for shidduch. 2 years he's running between one rabbi to another, asking this rabbi to pray for him, asking this person, asking his sister, asking the yeshiva to pray for him. Everybody is praying for him except himself. He has an army that's trying for him. What about you? Oh no, me it's not yet. Not yet. First thing Chazal say, Habibi, no shortcuts. No shortcuts. Im en ani li mili. If you're not going to take care of yourself, you're not going to be anything. What's the rest of the sentence? Ukshani li mani. When I'm going to do everything on my own, I'm also nothing. I need Hashem to help me. I cannot do anything without Hashem. V'im lo achshav ematai. And if not now, when? The way of the Yetzer Hara, they made a song about it. Not today and not tomorrow. The next day, I allow you. No problem. Comes tomorrow, you hear the same thing. Not today and not tomorrow. But the next day, I allow you. Come the following day, not today, not tomorrow, but the next day I allow you. Like this, 70 years of our life is gone, and we achieve nothing. One of the Goyim that died and came back to life. You can see it in Life After Life, in Torah Anytime. So he says, when he died, he had a conversation with God. What does he see? He sees huge light. He goes into the tunnel, his soul, and he had a conversation with God. And he saw all his life. Everybody see all his life when they died. So when he came back to life, they asked him, what can you say about that moment? For a few minutes you were dead. And he say a sentence that should give us a wake-up call. A goy. A goy doesn't have Taryag mitzvot. Only few mitzvot that even animals keep. The 6 out of the 7 mitzvot, or maybe 5 out of the 7 that the goyim have to keep, animals that have a little brain also keep. Also keep. Some of them at least. Because it's normal. It's way of life. So, you know what he say, the goy? I felt, 3 things he say. I did not achieve anything in my life. I did not complete anything in my life. I felt huge disappointment. And I thought to myself, I wish I can go back to that age, when I was a teenage, and restart my life all over again, to do things different. So he came back to life now, whatever, he was 40, 50 years old. So he's saying that once he saw the movie of his life on Shamayim, what happened? He felt major disappointment like a complete loser. He did not achieve anything in his life. Goy! What are we going to say? The world was created for us. Rava says, you know Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, right? Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi is famous. He wrote the Mishnah, the foundation of the oral Torah. Thanks to him we have it today. Without him we wouldn't have Gemara. The fact that we have Shulchan Aruch is thanks to Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. Why? With his Ruach HaKodesh he knew that even though it's forbidden to write the oral Torah, if he's not going to write the oral Torah, another 20, 30 years, nobody will have it anymore. Because the Jews were running all over to the exile. You got to keep the oral Torah, so he wrote the Mishnayot. When he was a kid, there was in a time that the Romans made a decree in Israel that no babies are allowed to be circumcised. No Shabbat, no reading in a Torah, no Rosh Chodesh. The Romans made all these decrees against the Jews. They wanted to destroy the religion. So, obviously his father made him circumcision when he was a baby in the 8th day, under the ground. Somebody told the Goyim that this family is the family of Rabban Gamliel. Who is Rabban Gamliel? From the family of King David. This is the family that Mashiach come from them. Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Yehuda, these descendants, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, Rabbi Shimon his son, all of them is one family of David HaMelech. When the Romans came to destroy Beit HaMikdash after 3 years that they made an ambush around Yerushalayim, finally Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai went to surrender to them. And they saw that he's such a genius, he became friendly with the Caesar. And the Caesar said, listen, before I'm going to go back to Rome, I like you, I'm giving you an opportunity to make a request. Make a request and I'll fulfill it. So he told him, I want to make 3 little requests. Little. What is it? One of them was, don't touch the family of Rabban Gamliel. Leave them. So the guy thought probably he likes them. They are his friends. He doesn't want them to die. What do I care? I leave one family alive. It's no request. He didn't know that the reason is because they are the Mashiach. If he kills them, there's no Mashiach ever. If he kills this family. He told them, don't touch the Chachamim Sanhedrin that sits in Yavne, and cure Rabbi Tzadok. He was fasting every day for a long, long time. His stomach became like a piece of paper. He could not eat anymore. Even if he wanted to eat, he couldn't eat. He vomited right away. So the Romans, they used to make daisa, like wheat, soft wheat, and feed him slowly, like we feed babies today, like formulas, with the wheat and barley, slowly, until his stomach expands and they cure him. So why do I tell you this? Rebbe, from the family of David HaMelech, when he was a kid, they called his mother for a checkout by the Goyim to see if they circumcise the baby. And they told them, whoever's going to get caught doing Brit Milah will destroy the baby, the mother, the father, everyone. So obviously they got very upset, wow, at the end of their life. So when they went to the palace, she was crying. She's sitting holding the baby, knowing in a few hours he won't be with her. And she will not be here. So then the Goya was sitting over there holding her baby by the palace over there. So she came to her and said, well, hey, ma'am, why are you crying? She said, you know, the goy, the king, he wants to kill us because we have a tradition and we make circumcision, and he wanted to check my baby, and now he's going to find out that my baby is circumcised, he's going to kill us. And she didn't know that she's speaking to the wife of the king. And she was holding the prince, the future prince of Rome, Antoninus, is the son of the Caesar. So she was holding that goy, and she told her, okay, listen, I feel bad for you. Give me your baby and take mine and go inside with this baby. You won't recognize him. He was just born a few days ago. And go inside, pretend it's your baby. He's not circumcised, a goy. So she said, thank you very much. So she was waiting online. In the meantime, the goy was crying. So she breastfed the goy, Antoninus, the mother of Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, for a few minutes. So they went inside, they checked him, they said, why are you saying Lashon Hara about this nice Jewish lady? No, Brit Milah, they faithful, these people, they listening to my orders. Okay, they gave her a candy, you can go now. So on the way out, she thanked her, they exchanged the babies again. 30 years later, the Gemara tells us a story. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi sitting in his home learning Torah, and there's a goy who likes to come and learn Torah with him. Who is this goy? Antoninus, the baby that breastfed from his mother 30 years ago, kosher milk, 30 years ago. You know, milk of a woman, is it parv or is dairy? Huh? If you take that milk and eat it with steak, if you give it to a baby, 2 years old, with a piece of cold cuts, with woman's milk on it, it's a sin or not? Huh? What do you say? What is the milk of a mother made from? Who knows? Blood. A second before it comes out to the air, a second, not a minute, a second before, it's still blood. And a moment that it comes out, a second before, it becomes spoiled, and it becomes this vanilla milk that the babies have. And not only that, it comes exactly in the right amount, that the baby needs right away. Gemara says, Amar Rav Nachman, חלב נעקר ונהפך לדם. The dam נעקר ונהפך לחלב. The dam becomes spoiled, the blood, how the blood is created in the body? From the food. If the food is kosher, the blood is kosher. It's made from kosher ingredients. The milk of a mother is kosher. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu, when he wanted to breastfeed him by the goyim, but he didn't want to drink. So Hashem said, the mouth that is future to talk to me, the only person in history that is about to talk to me anytime he wants direct, he is going to breastfeed from a goya? God forbid. So Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't want to drink from her, that she goes around to look for a woman that will breastfeed him. He brings his family to breastfeed him, Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Because Moshe doesn't want to drink from her. A baby, a week old. So Antoninus, who breastfed from the Jewish woman, later his mouth became a mouth of a Talmid Chacham. He used to come to Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. He made a tunnel. They dig a tunnel under the ground, like the Palestinians doing to us today. They bring weapon by the hour, drugs, weapon from Egypt to Gaza, non-stop under the ground. Every minute, there are hundreds of tunnels, one here, one there. You see the pictures of the tunnels, you don't know where they have how many tunnels they make every week. And tons of merchandise go from Egypt to Israel, to the Palestinian territory, no duty, nobody knows what, who knows how many missiles and rockets they get every day. This is tunnels, there's nothing you can do, it's under the ground, you cannot find it. So Antoninus made a tunnel, and he used to come to learn Torah with Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. But every time he had guards walking with him. You know, he's the prince, so the father has to protect him, that the Jews will not maybe kill him or something. So he goes with 2 guards. Guards has a mission, do not leave my son 1 minute alone. So every time he came to the house of Rebbe from the tunnel, he put the guards outside. He said, wait here, I'll be right back. By the time they turn their back, he comes and stabs them to death. He killed both of them. He goes to learn all day with Rebbe. Then he goes back. The next day he comes with 2 other guards. He's killing the guards every day. Later, He became a Talmid Chacham. The Gemara say later that he sends Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi a diamond, and he sent him a mezuzah. So he told him, well, I'm sending you a diamond worth millions. You're sending me this piece of paper. What is this? So he told him, you're sending me something that from now on I don't have a peace of mind anymore. I have to watch over it all the time. Remember, there was no safes in Citibank yet. So he has to watch the diamond everywhere he goes. I send you something that watch over you, and you complain. So what happened? The question that I have for you is, was he allowed to kill them? Goy allowed to kill? Goy that kills, what's his punishment? Death. It's one of the Sheva Mitzvot Bnei Noach. Should not kill, applies to the Goyim. And this is someone who learns Torah. You cannot say he did not know the 7 laws of Noach. For sure he knew. Why were they killing them every day? Every day killed 2 innocent Goyim? Why? No. Moshe, no.
He knew Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi could bring him back to life.
Nah.
He had anything?
Huh?
All of them did have anything.
But what? How did he have permission to kill them to begin with?
They're destined to be bad people.
Huh?
They're destined to be bad people.
Are we allowed to kill bad people?
Yes. The Avera and the Sefer Chinuch says only Adam Laki,
Beis Din can kill a person just because he's evil, because he's an arrogant person? No. He needs to do one of the sins that Chayav Mita B'Yedei Beit Din. I have news for you, Moshe. If a person took his wife and tied her to a tree, and he said, I'm not going to kill you, I'm not a murderer, but he brought the lion, and he unleashed his lion, and the lion went while she is tied to the tree and did not leave one drop in her body, destroyed her. What, if you be the judge in Queens Boulevard here, what would you do to such husband? Huh? I'll tell you another scenario. A husband that wanted to get rid of this wife, she's calling to ask him not to kill her, I guess. But the husband that wanted to get rid of his wife, he put 1 pill in her drink, and she did not feel anything. She went to sleep. In the morning she didn't wake up. He sent her directly to Gan Eden, the first row. She has a VIP place for her, that she had such a husband. And there are 2 witnesses that he did such a thing. He fed her with this pill. They have to kill him. Execution. He's a murderer. But with the lion, they set him free. If he put the lion to eat her. They don't send him flowers. He's in a blacklist forever now. But they send him free. Free means they don't kill him. Why? You're too... that's the answer. You're too sophisticated. I'll give you another hint. If you put a person, you tie him to the tree here, and you make fire here, how long it will take to the fire to go and burn him? 20 minutes? It's guaranteed. There's no way he can run. You burn the whole place, and you run out, and you lock the door. The fire is starting to go towards him and burn him to death. The court cannot kill you, even if there's 2 witnesses. Why? It's called grama. Indirect death. Indirect death. Understand? Even though it was purposely, he didn't. We're not talking that someone decided to throw his shoe from the 10th floor downstairs, and somebody in the first floor decided all of a sudden to get his head out of the window, and he fell right on his head and killed him. That's what something like this is. It's patur legamre. Patur. But if a person threw from the window the shoe without checking, he did not have any intention to kill anyone, but he did not check, and he hit somebody on his head. He hit somebody on his head. That's called ir miklat. That's called oreg b'shogeg. Right? I remember, it just reminded me when I was a kid, I decided one day to make myself French fries. So what happened? Someone told me, you want the French fries to be good? You gotta make sure the oil is really bubbling. And then when you put it, in less than 5 minutes, everything will be well done and good. Don't put it before the oil is very hot. So I waited 1 minute, 2 minutes. You know, the stoves in Israel, it's not America. It takes time. Then I decided, you know what, it takes a long time, I'll be back. I went to the room. After 15 minutes, I started to smell bad smell. I came from my room, such small apartment. I saw the whole kitchen is gray. Smoke. I said, wow, I'm going to burn my parents' apartment. I don't care what's going to be. I got to save the house. I went inside the fire. I see, the little I can see, I see now smoke come from the pot. So what do I do? What an idiot does when he sees such a thing. He shut off the fire, no? Just when you shut the fire, what happened to the fire, you know? There's a spark. It all goes on fire. Huge fire to the ceiling. So now, I'm standing over there, smoke all over, and I see from the pot, fire all the way to the ceiling. And I'm in a kitchen, and we have a backyard. We're on the 3rd floor. Backyard, Baruch Hashem, it's not Rashut Arabim, not cars or people walking the street. It's sand, some trees, backyard. Once in a while, somebody walked there, you know, if something from the laundry fell. So I say, what? I'm thinking, another minute, the whole building goes on fire. Because, you know, from one apartment it goes to the other. I say, I got to get rid of this pot. With my hands, I picked up the pot with the fire. In 1 second, I threw it from the window. With all the fire, it fell right into the sand, and the building got saved. Then I had to call all my cousins for all day to try to clean the walls. But what happened if it would fall on someone's head and kill him? What will be now according to the Torah? Huh? Ir miklat? Oh, it's anus. Anus Rahman, somebody who tried to save his life. Huh? What do you say?
If you say 4 lives by the building not burning down, how old are you at that time?
Maybe 14.
Under 13?
If I'm under 13, there's no question. We're talking older than 13. Go back to the question of Antoninus. Why Antoninus had permission to kill those 2 Romans? Permission, the Chatchila, without any problem. Why? Because if he would not kill them, what would happen after an hour? They will go back to the Romans and tell them that the son of the Caesar is betraying us, going to meet the rabbi every day in private meetings. What are they going to do? They'll kill him. That's called din rodef. The Torah says to you, when someone comes to kill you and he jeopardizes your life, you have permission to make the first move and kill him first. You understand? Not only if he comes to kill you, also if he goes to kill another Jew. I'll give you an example. If you see Reuven runs after Shimon, if you see Reuven, no, somebody wake him up. It says, if you see Reuven runs after Shimon, okay, to kill him. You don't know the story. You tell him to stop to Reuven, he doesn't want to stop. He has a long beard. He looks like a Rosh Yeshiva, but he runs after someone with a gun or with a knife. And the other person looks like, fishy. But you tell him, stop, don't kill him. And he doesn't listen to you. And everything you try to help him, to stop, to help the other guy, he did not help. You kill him. Later you find out that he was a righteous person and he was a big Rosh Yeshiva. You're not guilty. You did what Hashem told you to do in the Torah. What does the Torah say? It's called din rodef. Same thing here. Same thing, a woman that is about to give birth to a baby, but if she gives birth to the baby, she will die. What do you do in this case? You don't jeopardize her life. You kill the baby. Why? If you keep the baby alive, the mother will die. So the baby is after the life of his mother. Not intentionally. Doesn't matter. He's about to kill her. You have to save her life. Whatever happened. You got to save her life. There's a lot of scenarios like this. In the Talmud, we learn. So what is this? We see from this whole story that Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, that became the president of Israel, of all the Chachamim, And this Antoninus became his best friend for one thing, that his mouth had 1 or 2 or 5 minutes of drinking kosher milk from a righteous woman. Now you understand the influence of food on our life. This is an example. How much Adam ate from the tree? What did he eat? A bunch of grapes. Bunch of grapes. But Hashem said not to eat. 6,000 years, billions of people suffering from one forbidden eating. Today, everything that people see, they push in. Kosher, not kosher, Halav Israel. Oh, it's allowed. I heard that rabbi say it's allowed. It's allowed, this allowed. Believe me, if you knew how hard it is to find here, you would also make it allowed. I'm just giving examples, right? The meat, what about the meat? Oh, it's okay, it's fine. I heard that this guy eat it in that restaurant. That tzaddik ate from it. Oh, everybody now eats. People are not careful about what goes into their mouth. And because of that, it's very hard for them to be close to Hashem. Why? Because this is the gasoline that goes into the brain. The brain is where the soul is. If your soul doesn't get the right gasoline, it doesn't work well. That's why when someone comes and speaks to you about being Shomer Shabbos, you're getting confused, you're not interested. Sometimes they tell you to put tefillin 2 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day. And you know the reward is huge. You know, you're not dumb, you know you believe in Hashem. Why is it that you don't want to do it? For 2 minutes. 2 minutes a day, just put Shema Israel, you made a mitzvah. Not talking, praying, all this is extra. Say, put Shema Israel. A person is playing games. Calls me up, 6 o'clock. Can I still put tefillin? You know how many phone calls like this I get every week? I'm going to be home at 7:15. Can I put tefillin by then? One guy once called me at 11 o'clock at night. I didn't put tefillin. Can I put now? With bracha or without bracha? I say put the garbage bag on your head. But garbage can, it's better. Why is it? It starts with the food, what goes into the mouth. I know people, believe me, I'm not exaggerating. Never ever you find them eating in public. No matter how kosher it is, strictly kosher, they never eat in public. Why? There's 1 to a million chance that something went wrong. 1 to a million chance. They know that the person who is in charge is a very, very righteous person. He's so careful. He checks with magnifying glass every leaf. God forbid there's a worm. He maybe even check better than me. If I would have to check it at home, when I eat it, he maybe is more reliable than myself. But I know what I did. At least I know what I did, right or wrong. If I did it fast, if I did it slow, I know what I did. So if I do it, I know what to expect. When he did, maybe something went wrong. Maybe he skipped that leaf. 1 leaf of lettuce without checking on washing in the right way, it's an army of pigs. An army of pigs. Hundreds of pigs coming to you, towards you. Would you eat them? Imagine somebody bring you 50 big, fat, chubby pigs and say, this is for you, for the next 20 years, you eat as much as you want. What would you say? You're bringing me this? I don't want to even stand next to them. So you say, okay, no problem. You can use their skin to make leather jacket. You're allowed. You're only not allowed to eat them, but you're allowed to enjoy from the skin. You can make leather couches. You can do some leather things. You can make basketball from the skin. Whatever you want. Would you eat 1 bite from those porks, from this pig? 1 lettuce may have more than the entire group of pigs. 1 lettuce. One time in your house, take a lettuce from the store of the goyim, one leaf. 1 head of lettuce, take 1 leaf out, stand by the sun with a magnifying glass and look. How many worms are walking on 1 leaf? Put it on a white sheet and come back after 3 hours. What's going to be on a white sheet? Hundreds of green dots. Where did they come from? This is all worms. Cashew, right? I'm sure you eat cashews a lot, no? Every bunch of cashews that you buy, for sure you're going to find few little ones, but they're so small. I'm telling you, if you don't pay attention, it looks like a black dot. You don't really see, because sometimes they fold. It looks like a dot. If you look at that with a magnifying glass, you can even see the head and the tail of the worm. And it's dry sometimes, it's dead. It's 6 sins from the Torah. 6 steaks of pork in one dot. Why? A Jew, it's not an animal. A Jew has to be very careful what goes inside his neshama. He doesn't sit everywhere and eat whatever they serve him. Sometimes a person comes, he wants to eat lax. The lax is kosher. But almost always they put the lax on leathers. Right? What happened with these leathers? These leathers is full of worms. Always full of worms. And these worms not always like only leathers. They sometimes like lax. When they go inside the lax and you don't realize, you eat it, it sticks to the bottom of it. 5 steaks of pork for breakfast in a Brit Milah that you went. Right? What are you going to say? I didn't know. Right? This is the difference between someone who has Yirat Shamayim and someone who doesn't. Chazal says, the Gemara says, there was one person walking and the Chachamim say, here comes this person with Yirat Shamayim. He's fearful from Hashem. And the other group of Chachamim, they say, here comes this person that is full of Torah and knowledge. So the first Chachamim told the second Chachamim, you're not embarrassed? We saying, here comes the person with the Yirat Shamayim, and you telling us, here comes the person that knows all the Torah by heart? So what do you understand from this conversation? What's more important? Yirat Shamayim. So it means if a person knows all the Torah and he doesn't have Yirat Shamayim, that means whatever happened, happened, Rabbi. Don't be too strict. Whatever happened, happened. Come on, we are in the 21st century. It's very difficult as it is life. Don't drive us crazy. Whatever we do, it's also good. Right? This is what you hear all the time. Agree with me or not? Right? When you tell your parents about worms, that's the answers you're going to get sometimes, no? Don't drive us crazy. It's enough. It's good enough like this. It's very hard. This is where the test is. Not only stealing and all these things that we know it's obvious not to do. It starts with what comes into your mouth. Entering Rosh Hashanah, we have 5 more minutes. Entering Rosh Hashanah, you have to know one thing. The month of Elul is not only to ask forgiveness for what we did. It's time to return all the money we stole, or the money that we owe people. And if we cannot pay it, and I mean we cannot, not we don't want, or it's not comfortable right now, or we have other plans to do with the money. If we cannot pay it back, we don't have. We need to eat. We don't want to die because we pay a loan back. But if we cannot pay it back, we must go to that person and apologize even 100 times and make him forgive us that we did not pay him the loan on time, or if the due date passed, or even if the due date is not passed. Just to tell him, I know that in 2 months I have to return you the money, but I want you to know that I have the money, and I apologize if I got you upset, or if I keep it too long. Just that this person says, it's okay, don't worry. I'm not worried about it. I trust you. I forgive you. You're late on a payment. 1 minute, it's already a sin. You promise him by 5 o'clock you'll have the money. It's already 5:03. If it's a guy that did a job for you, he works in your business. If he works during the day, and the paycheck is every Sunday, when do you have to pay him? When is the due date of the weekly salary? If you pay him every Sunday, the sunset is at 8 o'clock in the evening, 8 o'clock. And you're closing the business every Sunday at 8 o'clock. And by 8 o'clock you did not pay him. You went home. When is the sin start? It's 3 sins from the Torah every second. Every second. 3, 6, 9, 12. 1 night like this you don't pay, it will be chas v'shalom, thousands of sins. It's no joke not paying back people. Up to the morning, the sunrise, you must pay him his salary. The Torah says you have up to the sun, tavo hashemesh. Once you're starting to see the sun in the morning, the following morning, this is for workers that work during the day. So the Torah gave you one night time until the morning to pay your employees or your agents that work for you. Those who work for you, you owe them, or they did a job, contracting job in your house, and this is a due date to pay them. And you don't pay. Once the sun is shining, from this moment on, you have 3 sins from the Torah every second. Unless, if before the job is finished, like in the morning or before you went home, you told him, I apologize, I planned to have the money, something went wrong, somebody took money out of my account, I didn't know, I'm anus, I didn't plan it. I apologize, but I don't have the money. If you don't have the money, really you don't have, then you patur. You don't have a sin. But in the first second that the money comes to your hand, you have to run. It's so serious that the Torah says that if a person accepted Shabbat on 7 o'clock, you know, we go to shul at 7 o'clock in the summertime. It's light until almost 8:45 in the evening. We don't want to go home at 10 o'clock to make Kiddush. The children are falling asleep. So sometimes we daven early. Mincha 7, by 8 o'clock we finish the Kabbalat Shabbat, we go home 8:15. 8:15, it's normal time. You sit with your family, you make Sudat Shabbat, right? What happened if you accepted Shabbat, you already pray Arvit of Shabbat, in the middle of, it's still light outside, in the middle of the prayer, for you it's Shabbat, that's it. You cannot start your car, obviously. Shabbat for you. All of a sudden you remember, ooh, I have my employee Moshe. I was supposed to pay him. Friday is the due date. I forgot to pay him the money. And when do I have until? The following morning. But it's Shabbat. You cannot touch money on Shabbat. You cannot drive with a car to his house to pay him the money. You cannot make a phone call to apologize, to ask extension until Sunday. What do? So obviously if you find a goy, you run home, you take the money, you give it to the goy to run to his house before Shabbat, because for him is not Shabbat yet. You must pay him the money, because you don't want to go into thousands of sins by the end of Motzi Shabbos. And if there's no goy, in the old days used to have horses. To ride a horse on Shabbat, it's a sin from the Rabbanan, not from the Torah. Maybe you're going to cut a branch or something. So they say that you're allowed to jump on a horse and ride all the way to his house, even though you finish Shabbat already. You're in the middle of you come home to do Kiddush. Your family is sitting, remember, I didn't pay my employee. Whoa, where is the horse? He rides now 20 minutes to find the person to pay him the money. Why? Maybe I will be late by an hour or half an hour on a payment. And today, call us in 60 days. Call us in 90 days. Next year we'll pay you. Believe me, we don't have. The next day you call, where is Rachel? She went to Israel with her family. Just a week ago she swore that she doesn't have the money to pay back. She's almost crying on the phone. How did she have $10,000 for airfare? That's what happened today. Religious people. Dreaming that they're religious. Dreaming. Then they come to Olam Haba, they get a visa directly, express, to the other direction. And they say, Hashem, what happened to my Shabbat? I used to go to Bet Gavriel for 15 minutes a week to learn. Once a month I came to a lecture there also. What happened now? You see how many things with money. How do you know a person is righteous or not? Today, in today's generation. You check what goes into his mouth that we said, what comes out of his mouth, how he talks. If you see a person on the street cursing, then you know right away his level in spirituality. You know his level. Far from Hashem. A person that close to Hashem does not dare to curse on the street with a yarmulke on his head, or to scream, or to make chilul Hashem. But the main thing, Adam nikar bekiso, koso vekaaso. If you want to check a person, if your daughter one day bring you a guy for shidduch, you want to know who he is, first you check how generous he is. Kiso, how much he cries for his bills, how does he pay his bills, how is his credit. Check his TRW to see if he has late payments or not. It's important. That's kiso, money. Koso, the drinks. How does he drink? Some people drink like this. Right? They come to the table, they finish, then they take the napkin, they blow their nose, and they put the napkin on the table next to the Shabbos meal, right on the table. That's called koso, kiso, and the last one is kaaso, is anger. You pinch him a little bit. You get on his nerve a little bit. You want to see his reaction. How much patience he have for every person, for his children, for his wife. How is he talking to her? If you want to know if a person is decent or not, it's not the way he looks in his costume or the way he walk in the street and make a show. How do you know? When you call his home, you check how his wife or his children answer the phone and how they call him. From there you see if they hate him or they love him. If they hate him, they know who he is. They know who he is. They know the way he talk. They hear all his lies on the phone. Inside the house they see what he really eats. His sleeping hours, his learning Torah, and all the things. His behaving between people. And they know if he's real or he's fake. That's why when someone that is close to you know that is fake, he cannot stand you. Why do you think a lot of non-religious people hate religious people so much? Why? Because they saw so many fake ones that they got fed with them. They're so sick and tired of them that when finally a real righteous rabbi comes and begs for a donation to save his yeshiva, they kick him out of the door like the dog. Who's going to pay the price for it? Not they. They like goyim. They live in the different world. Who's going to pay the price? Those who are fake. Because of them, the real poor people don't get donation. The real rabbi don't get donation. The real yeshivot sometimes get shut off. Why? Because the fake one blackmailed them for everything they have. And they found that they're lying. They gave the wrong numbers. They gave the wrong expenses. They cheated them on all kinds of promises. Send us $10,000. We promise you your mother will not die from cancer. How do you promise? Who are you? You Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? I don't think Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai would have the guts to tell someone, send me this amount of money, I promise you he won't die. Maybe yes, I don't know. It's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Today, you know what business people do? You heard about the Machon LeKabbalah? Millions of dollars they get from innocent fools that have sicknesses. And a person in a time of sickness, his mind doesn't work. Send us $100,000, we'll make a special tikkun for you that will make the patient die faster. That's they don't know. And they send. And they send. They even had it on Israeli television, recording them, how they fooling the people. And take advantage on their agony. And the people who don't know the difference between real and bad, what do they say? Look at the religious people. We have an obligation before all the famous things. We're coming into Rosh Hashanah to accept on ourselves, to work on our personality, to be real, not to be fake. Enough with all this one in a heart, one in a mouth. Chad v'peh, chad v'lev. Double face. No faith. Being nice to people because you need something from them. Nice to people but destroy your wife at home. You think you're a tzaddik. Right? You know those people? They're nice to everyone. They volunteer to every job on the expense of their wife and their children. They are miserable at home for 20 years. He is the first one to volunteer to every organization. No problem, I don't need. I'll do it for you. Just tell me when you need. Tonight, in the middle of the night, in the morning. What is it? Atzala? No problem, it's life-saving. Tomche Shabbos? I'll be the first one. Making people religious? I'll be the first one. Being in a kollel? I'll be the first one. Taking care of children? I'll be the first one. It's all mitzvot, beautiful. Did your wife agree? I'll finish with one short story. One avrech in Bnei Brak moved to a place. They got an apartment, him and his wife. They just got married. And this was a brilliant Talmid. Brilliant. Learning in yeshiva, star in yeshiva, with bright future. Once they moved to the place, before they moved to that place, they made an agreement. What was the agreement? That they is marry her with a condition and everything that she agrees to move with him to that town because he wants to learn in that yeshiva. She agreed. After a few months, once they moved to that town, the wife was depressed at home. She doesn't know anyone there. There's nothing to do over there for women, only for men. He's sitting in yeshiva, he's enjoying, but she's miserable. So she told him, look, I know I promised, I did not know what I'm going to. Let's go to Rav Shach and ask him what to do. So they came into the yeshiva, he brought the agreement. They signed an agreement before the wedding. It was clever. He knew that maybe she's going to change her mind. So he brings the agreement to Rav Shach, he looks at the agreement and he says, yeah, what's the question? Now she wants to back up on the agreement. She wants to sell the apartment and move out, and move to a place which I don't have a yeshiva like this. This is where I'm teaching, I'm learning. So the Rav Shach asked him, I don't know why you need to bother to come to me. Where is the question here? I don't see a question. So he tells the Rav, it's my future, it's my Torah. Torah is the most important mitzvah. No, limud Torah, it's all my life. What do you mean, what is the question? He kept repeating the answer. I don't see the question. To learn Torah and on the expense of your wife? That she will sit in agony and pain at home? The Torah is worthless. No mitzvah, what's not even a bit. Rav Shach, I show you in the book. They bring it. He said, what's the question? Sell the apartment and go to the next town that she wants to live there. But the Torah over there, it's not the same. It's begging the Rav. The Rav said, I don't see the question. There's no question here. You find a place over there to learn. How many people knows it? Let her suffer. She signed the agreement. What? I'm going to change my life. I want to learn all day. Torah? No. You cannot give donation with your neighbor money. You cannot be generous with your parents' money. It's nice. Your parents help you out. They give you a car. Not necessarily they agree that you volunteer with your car to all kinds of causes. Your parents willing to sponsor you that you sit and learn Torah. Sometimes there are situations that are not agreeing. You cannot take it for granted and force them. Certain things, a certain situation in life. Everything needs a question. Where are we heading to? I'm not sure. Who gave you permission to decide if you don't know which one is good, which one is bad? I know people, ladies, when they become Baalei Tshuva, they went to buy a skirt in a store. And they were not sure if the skirt is kosher or not. So out of their naive, innocent. They used to call every 10 minutes to the rabbi. I was sitting there to ask him if they can buy this color. Can they buy pink? Can they buy red? They're not sure. They heard all kinds of rumors. They want to buy a skirt. 20 times they call to make sure they buy a kosher skirt. Why? They have Yirat Shamayim. They're foolish. Yeah, of course, they opened the book. They knew the halacha. But they have Yirat Shamayim. It's better to be a fool, to have Yirat Shamayim, than to be a genius and a faker. You agree or not? So Bezrat Hashem, we have, that's it, 10 days less to correct things. Not just to sit and pray. To pray it's important. Slichot is important. But it's much more important to change. You're jealous, you change. You don't have faith, you learn about faith. You don't learn enough Torah. Now you're going to show Hashem you want to learn Torah. And the most important thing, you got to beg Hashem, please help me to get close to you. From there, everything else will be easy. Break all the screens between me and you. Break it. Let me get closer. Let me feel this great feeling that you describe in your Torah. You're not a liar. You created me, right? You created my soul. You promised me that the Torah and being close to God is the most delicious feeling in history. There's nothing even close to it. In this world, I don't feel it. That means I have a problem. Help me to overcome this problem. Help me. I'm embarrassed for my family. My friends don't let me be religious. My wife, she's too modern. She's not interested. I cannot even put a yarmulke bigger than a quarter. Every time I buy a larger yarmulke, the next day I see it's disappeared. Comes back the quarter into the bed right away. Wake up in the morning, the quarter is back. Pray to Hashem. Now don't go into fights with her. Pray to Hashem, help me out, help me out, help me out, help me out. One day she say, honey, look what I bought you for your birthday. The Baba Sali yarmulke. Before you argue with her and go into wars, few words to Hashem can change the picture if you have faith. Bezrat Hashem, next Sunday I'm going to go into the laws of Rosh Hashanah. Shofar, the prayers, the importance of Rosh Hashanah, conversation allowed, not allowed, how to handle your guest or if you're a guest, important things. Okay? And we're going to speak about also Aseret Yemei Tshuva, but that's it. Next Sunday is the last lecture of the year. Okay? Be'ezrat Hashem, please try to bring anyone you can to at least have the last lecture of the year, that the people have the merit to know to enter with the right kavanah and the right step into Yom Adin. Thank you very much. Good night.